Have you ever wondered how a vast, unknown continent became the United States of America, a nation that would reshape the world? This isn't just a story of dates and battles, it's a saga of ambition, conflict, and the relentless pursuit of an idea. Hello everyone, I'm Ur Ergunay. From ancient migrations across a frozen land bridge to the ink drying on a revolutionary document, this is the story of how America was made. Before a single European ship sighted its shores, the Americas were home to millions. For over 15,000 years, diverse and sophisticated civilizations thrived across two continents. From the intricate road networks of the Inca in the Andes to the sprawling city of Cahokia near the Mississippi River, these were societies with rich cultures, complex governments, and deep connections to the land. They were astronomers, farmers, architects, and artists. This wasn't an empty wilderness, it was a world teeming with people and history, a world on the cusp of a cataclysmic change. The year is 1492. The world, or at least the European world, believes it knows its own map. But one man, an Italian mariner named Christopher Columbus, sailing under the Spanish flag, has a radical idea. He believes he can reach the rich spice markets of the East Indies by sailing west across the vast, uncharted Atlantic. After a perilous journey, his crew spots land. But this isn't Asia. It's a world entirely new to them. Columbus's arrival in the Caribbean marks the beginning of an unprecedented and often brutal collision of worlds. He didn't discover a new land in the true sense. It was already inhabited, but his voyage opened a gateway for European exploration, conquest, and colonization that would forever alter the course of human history. Following Columbus, a wave of European powers, Spain, Portugal, France, and England, rushed to claim their piece of this new world. However, our story focuses on the English who came with the intention of staying. In 1607, a small band of adventurers established Jamestown in what is now Virginia. It was a brutal beginning, marked by starvation, disease, and conflict with the native Powhatan Confederacy. Yet they survived thanks in large part to a profitable, if labor-intensive, crop: tobacco. This set a precedent for a new kind of colony, one based on permanent settlement and agricultural wealth. Further north, another group of English settlers arrived for entirely different reasons. In 1620, the Pilgrims, seeking religious freedom from the Church of England, landed at Plymouth Rock. Aboard their ship, the Mayflower, they signed a compact, a simple agreement to form a civil body politic. This small document was a monumental step. It planted the seed of an idea that would blossom into American democracy. The idea that a government's power comes from the consent of the governed. Over the next century, 13 distinct English colonies would stretch along the Atlantic coast, each with its own unique character, economy, and social structure, from the Puritan society of Massachusetts Bay to the plantation economy of South Carolina. For over 150 years, these 13 colonies grew under British rule. They were British subjects, but an ocean separated them from their king and parliament. This distance bred a spirit of independence and self-reliance. Colonists built their own local governments, managed their own affairs, and developed a unique identity. They were Virginians, New Yorkers, Pennsylvanians, but they were also something else, something new. They were becoming Americans. The relationship with Britain was often tense, but for the most part it worked. The colonies were part of the mighty British Empire, protected by its navy and integrated into its trade network. But this relatively peaceful arrangement was about to be shattered. The turning point was the French and Indian War, part of a larger global conflict known as the 7 Years' War. Britain and its American colonies fought side by side to drive the French out of North America. They were victorious, but victory came at a staggering cost. The British government was deeply in debt. To pay for the war, Parliament in London decided the American colonies should share the burden. They began imposing a series of taxes on the colonists, starting with the Sugar Act and the Stamp Act. This wasn't just about money. For the colonists, it was a violation of a fundamental right. They had no representatives in Parliament, so they argued it was taxation without representation. The cry echoed through the colonies, igniting a firestorm of protest. Protests escalated into violence. In 1770, British soldiers fired on a hostile crowd in the Boston Massacre. In 1773, colonists disguised as Native Americans dumped a shipment of British tea into Boston Harbor in what became known as the Boston Tea Party. Britain responded with force, passing a series of punitive laws the colonists called the Intolerable Acts, which closed the port of Boston and stripped Massachusetts of its self-government. The colonies were at a crossroads. They had to choose, submit to British authority or unite and resist. In 1774, delegates from 12 of the 13 colonies met in Philadelphia for the First Continental Congress. They weren't calling for independence, not yet. They were seeking a peaceful resolution, a restoration of their rights as Englishmen, but the time for compromise was running out. On April 19, 1775, the simmering tensions exploded into open warfare. British troops marched from Boston to seize colonial military supplies in Concord. They were met by colonial militiamen at Lexington and Concord. The shot heard round the world had been fired. The American Revolution had begun. The Second Continental Congress convened, now facing the reality of a full-blown war. They appointed George Washington as the commander of the new Continental Army. Still, many held out hope for reconciliation. But as the war raged on, and with the powerful words of thinkers like Thomas Paine in his pamphlet Common Sense, the sentiment for a complete break with Britain grew into a tidal wave. Finally, in the hot summer of 1776, Congress took the final, momentous step. A committee, including Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin, was tasked with drafting a formal Declaration of Independence. Jefferson, its primary author, penned some of the most powerful words in the English language. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence. There was no turning back. The 13 colonies had declared themselves the United States of America. Winning independence was a monumental struggle. The fledgling United States faced the most powerful military on earth. The war was long, brutal, and filled with moments of despair, like the harsh winter at Valley Forge. But under the leadership of George Washington, and with crucial aid from France, the Continental Army persevered. The decisive blow came in 1781 at the Battle of Yorktown, where the American and French forces trapped a large British army, forcing its surrender. The war was effectively over. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris officially recognized the independence of the United States. The revolution was won, but the challenge of building a nation had just begun. The first government, under the Articles of Confederation, was weak and ineffective. The country was in danger of falling apart. So, in 1787, delegates once again gathered in Philadelphia, this time to create a new framework for government. The result of their debates and compromises was the United States Constitution, a brilliant and enduring document that established a federal republic with a system of checks and balances among three branches of government. It created a government strong enough to function, but designed to protect the liberties for which they had fought. With its ratification and the addition of the Bill of Rights, the United States of America was truly founded, not just as a place on a map, but as a nation built on a revolutionary idea of liberty and self-government. The story, of course, doesn't end there. The founding of America was a complex and often contradictory process, and its ideals of liberty and equality were not extended to all. The new nation would grapple with the institution of slavery, the displacement of Native Americans, and the long struggle for civil rights for centuries to come. But the journey from those first ancient migrations to the signing of the Constitution is a foundational epic, a story of how a continent was transformed and a new kind of nation was born from the fires of revolution. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey through history as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Let us know in the comments what part of this history you find most compelling. We'll see you in the next video.